Warner! Oh my god, am I trying to justify a bad guy? Wait. Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. As you can see, we are very chill today because I am about to start reading the Shatter Me series. Okay, I have the first book ready to go, locked and loaded. And I want to share the experience with you guys because I feel like this series is a very classic series from when I was a teenager, but I never got into it for some reason. And this is one of the series where I wanted to get into this year. And since I just read The Hunger Games like a couple weeks ago, I am very much hyped to go into the series because I feel like this era of books is such a great era. Like, I feel like we had such great bangers, and they're very tiny books, but they are usually very good stories. So I'm very excited for this one. This is a rather gigantic series because we have, from what I'm seeing here, 6 main books, which would be Shatter Me, Unravel Me, Ignite Me, Restore Me, Defy Me, and Imagine Me. But then we also have the short stories in between, which would be Fracture Me, Shadow Me, Reveal Me, and Believe Me. I'm still gonna go and look into the reading order and the correct way of reading this, but I'm starting it with the first book, and I'm gonna tackle that, and then later on I'll look into the reading order. Okay, cool, great. But so yeah, I want to read you guys the blurb in case you're not familiar with the series, but also for me to remember because I have an idea, but I want to be 100% sure. Okay, so let's get into this. I have a gift. I'm more than human. My touch is power. I will fight back. Juliet hasn't touched anyone in exactly 264 days. The last time she did, it was an accident, but the re-establishment locked her up for murder. No one knows why Juliet's touch is fatal. As long as she doesn't hurt anyone else, no one really cares. The world is too busy crumbling to pieces to pay attention to a 17-year-old girl. Diseases are destroying the population, food is hard to find, birds don't fly anymore, and the clouds are the wrong color. The re-establishment said their way was the only way to fix things, so they threw Juliet in a cell. Now so many people are dead that the survivors are whispering war, and the re-establishment has changed its mind. Maybe Juliet is more than a tortured soul stuffed into a poisonous body. Maybe she's exactly what they need right now. Juliet has to make a choice, be a weapon or be a warrior. Very excited for this. Very, very, very excited. I also believe we have Aaron Warner or something like that to me here, so I've heard he's a great book boyfriend, so I'm very excited for that. If you have read this series, let me know in the comments down below what your favorite part of it was, what are your favorite quotes, all those good things, because I want to know by the end of it. I feel like that would be a great and interesting little moment to have. So yeah, we're about to meet Aaron. I'm so sure it's him. Okay, I'm sure it's him because we just met this guy that's around her age, right? And the descriptions are, his eyes are the palest shade of emerald I've ever seen. He's beautiful, right? His blonde hair expertly combed, and his suit is perfectly pressed. So it's Aaron. I'm so sure it's Aaron. Okay. Also, the fucking Adam. Fuck you, man. Fuck him. Warner! Guys, his name is etched into the lapel. Warner. I knew it was him. I knew it. I have a proposition for you. Propose marriage, bitch. Just propose marriage. That's all we want, is marriage. I don't even like blonde characters. I always envision them with black hair for some reason, but yeah. But be careful, pretty girl. Oh, you think she's pretty? Okay. I need to stop blushing because I don't even know if I like this dude, but it's just making me. We're gonna have to endure Adam some more. Fuck off. Bro, she says, I don't want you to touch me. Adam goes, you don't have a choice. And she goes, I always have a choice. And you know what? That's fucking interesting because she does always have a choice. All she has to do is just boop him in the face and he's dead. So she will always have a choice if she wants or not to be touched. Because you will stop touching her when she decides you cannot touch her anymore. Y'all, Adam is about to lose his life. This motherfucker is so dumb. This dumb cunt. Okay. Okay, we're at chapter 27. Let's see what happens next. Don't underestimate me. Oof. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. When I found out Adam knew Juliet when they were younger, I was like, okay, cool. Like, you know, they've actually liked each other for a while and whatever, and they're cute. They're very cute together. But I know he's not gonna be the end all be all. At least I don't think so because, like, I just don't think so. You know, something tells me, right? Now Warner is kind of like telling her that Adam is like tricking her and stuff, and tell me why I'm believing it. I mean, I know Warner is fucked in the head, which I do think I believe how he got to this point, but I don't think he's lying. I don't think he's lying. Because to me, it's a lot more believable that in this reality that they're living in, Warner would be a bad guy and be all fucked in the head than through all of this and all the anguish and all of the pain that Adam just was still such a pure soul. I don't know why it's more believable to me. Oh my god, am I trying to justify a bad guy? But like, he's like saying, oh, tell me don't believe his lies about loving you or whatever. And I'm like, honestly, now that you put it that way, even I am second guessing Adam. I mean, not that Warner is a better option, but like, I don't know. Oh my god. It was a lie. The alarm was a lie. The alarm was a lie, bitches. Why don't you ask yourself why you're trusting your life to someone who can't even differentiate between a real and an imaginary threat? He just realized the other dude can touch her. Wait. Warner swipes for my leg again, and I gasp so loud I almost hear it through the sirens shattering my eardrum. I hope he doesn't know he just touched my... I take a deep breath and hope Warner doesn't realize what just happened. I hope he doesn't know he just touched my leg, and nothing happened. So not only Adam, but also Aaron. Both of them can touch her and nothing will happen. I think it's like the people she cares about can touch her. Right? Because I think like she loves Adam, or she's in love with Adam supposedly, but also she started to warm up to Aaron. So I think like that is making both of them like able to touch her because it's her, not them. Because why would they be special? They're not special. It's her. I did not expect that. What the fuck? Okay, y'all. I finished the first book. Just right now. I don't know what I think about this so far. Like, I think I'm enjoying the book. I am enjoying the writing. I'm enjoying the book. I like the characters a lot. I really like Juliet. Like, she is very sassy. She's very snappy, and she's also, you know, she's weak from all that she went through, and she does have a lot of trauma. But at the same time, she locks in when she needs to. She will grab the gun. She will threaten you to your face. Like, don't fucking fuck with me. Yeah, like she is very interesting and I like that. I didn't want to go through the whole like, I'm so weak, oh my god, I can't, how will I survive, you know what I mean? So I'm really liking her, and I'm liking all of the characters and the background stories. Like, for example, I'm really liking Kenji, right? Like how he is just a military dude, but then he's a friend, but then he's not just a military dude, and then he has abilities. It's a whole thing, right? So I'm really enjoying that, like, there's depth to the story and a lot happening in the background that we're just getting introduced to. I also am very surprised about everyone else having abilities, because obviously I didn't think she was the... Well, no, that's why. I thought she was the only one. I really did. I don't know why I didn't even think of anyone else having the ability. But now there's this whole resistance with abilities and various different kinds of abilities. And that's so interesting because that's a whole other layer to the story that I was not anticipating. And I'm very happy with. But I just don't know. I thought more was going to happen, even though technically a lot did happen. But I feel like a lot happened more towards the end of the book, where they finally escaped and they were running for their lives, and there was the confrontation with Aaron and all of that bullshit, right? I'm not saying it's bad, right? I'm just saying like I kind of expected to be more happening. And in the end, this whole almost paradise-esque place, you know, keeps you guessing because there's not a lot of answers, there's not a lot of information, but at the same, I don't know, like I'm still trying to figure it out, how I feel about it, because I'm happy for her and happy that this place exists and all of that, but at the same time, I'm like, I guess I was expecting the shoe to drop at some point, but it didn't. You know, when something sounds way too good to be true, that's kind of how I feel about it. I don't know if I'm just being too skeptical or something, but that's kind of like how I was feeling. Either way, I'm enjoying it quite a lot, and I am going to be continuing this series. I am going to be reading it with the smaller little short stories in between. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the 1.5 story. I don't remember the name. I just read the name. I don't remember it, and I don't have it here, so I'm going to listen to it in audiobook while I do some stuff around the house. But I'm gonna listen to the little short story, and then I'm gonna go into book 2, and I'll keep y'all posted. Okay, I'm thinking 4 stars for this book because it's good, but I'm not like, oh my god, I'm wowed, you know what I mean? But I'm thinking 4 stars for this book, and I guess we'll see where the rest of the story goes. Okay, I have finished the little short story. Is it Unravel Me or something? No, that's number 2. Doesn't fucking matter, right? Finish the short story. Fucking hell. Okay, so this is all in the perspective of Warren. And here's the thing, right? That's why I mentioned also earlier that I can understand his position better, having into account what his situation probably could have been. And this book just proves that even further, where I find that his position is a lot like more interesting and complex, you know, and I can understand it because he has been mistreated all his life. He has been abused all his life by his father, and his mother has been abused by his father as well. And so you can understand why he is the way he is. Also, the fact that he's very OCD with his clothing, with his cleanliness, all of that doesn't surprise me, because oftentimes when someone doesn't have control over their life, they will try to control it some other way. Some people it's through that OCD-esque cleanliness and organization, having everything very tidy, because that's the only thing they can control, so they take that to the max. Makes 100% sense. It also gave me a lot of introspection into who he is and why he is the way he is, and his relationship, like sort of relationship that he has in his head for Juliet, and why he feels so much for her. And he is in the end like, he feels that his sentiments are pure, and he just wants what's best for her, but he doesn't in a very like sick and twisted way, which, to be fair, having into account his reality so far in life, it makes sense why that makes sense to him. Obviously it's deranged, but it makes sense having into account his character, which I absolutely love when characters are this psychologically complex and you can understand why they are it's just so interesting to me. Those very shallow characters annoy the living crap out of me. Like, having a more complex character, yes, 100% yes. And so I just love that. It also broke my heart to see her diary entries, her little journal entries, because they are really bad. Like, her mother is a bitch, a disgusting piece of shit, okay? Like, her mother burning her 6-year-old child's hand. And of course she doesn't like looking into her own eyes, because that's exactly what her mom was like. Don't look at me. I don't want to see your eyes. I hate seeing your eyes. That's why. It's just so easily explained now. And I find that also very, very, very fucking interesting. And just, I like that type of information, so I can piece together who the characters are and, you know, all the little tidbits about them. I also want to understand why he can touch her and why the other dude can touch her, so I'm hoping next book will tell us that. But so far, like, there is no mention of that, so I don't think he understands how he can touch her yet. So yeah, those were my thoughts so far. This was a very quick audiobook. Like, I think I listened to it for like, I don't know, like an hour and something, because I was listening to it like 2.3 times speed. It was quick and easy, and now I want to start the next one. I have it locked and loaded, peeps. We're ready to go and start Unravel Me, book 2 of the Shatter Me series. And yeah, I'm gonna curl up in bed and I'm going to read a little bit before going to sleep. So yeah, I don't know if I'll update you guys anymore today. Hope you liked today's update so far, but I'll let you know if anything interesting happens in the meantime. And yeah, otherwise I'll see you tomorrow. Hey there, everyone. It's been quite a few days since I last updated you, so I wanted to give you a quick little rundown of how things have been. As you can probably tell, I have a sling on. I only have one arm. I had a bit of an accident, ended up in the hospital and having surgery. So, yeah, it's been quite a few days. I'm not going to get too much into it, but everything is okay. I have finished the second book in the series, Unravel Me. So far, I did first book, first short story, and now the second book. I did full audiobook on the second one because I was in the hospital and I just didn't have the brain capacity to read, so I just got the audiobook and just listened to it, and it kept me company for quite a chunk of time there in the hospital. So Unravel Me was very interesting because it really gave us the reality of how they were living inside of the little compound and how really hard this whole situation has been on Juliet and how like she's having a hard time adapting to it and also coming to terms with her powers and who she is and all of it, right? I do think it's taking her a little bit too long. I think this pity party, this oh poor me kind of thing is like it's too much girly. It's too much girly pop. Like enough is enough, you know? I understand it. I do. But at some point you have to you have to move on, you know? She's also very avoidant and she's also like the runner. Like she's a runner. She runs from conflict. She runs from everything that scares her too much. She just runs, which I understand. She's also been through a lot. She has a lot of trauma. So it is understandable, but it's like, come on, girly, it's time to start character development. We need to evolve. We need to grow. Some growth has to happen, you know? Which we do see more towards the end of the book, which I very much appreciated. And also her being more involved in the whole movement and also us getting to know a little bit more about the other characters and all that was happening inside of this like revolution whatever. Very interesting, but I feel like there could have been more a little bit, towards the end we do see that Aaron now has powers as well, and his powers are quite the opposite of Adam's, because Adam has now been like certified that he has powers in this book, and his powers are more of like he cancels other people's powers, but he has to actively do it, and by actively doing it it's basically draining him and killing him, and so touching her was slowly killing him, and he might forget to put a barrier between them and he could die. And so to Juliet that made it impossible for them to ever be together because her fear of killing someone accidentally is too strong and she wouldn't risk it, right? Like it would be an effort for him to be with her. But Aaron, on the other hand, of course, we love him. He actually takes pleasure in touching her and, feeling her powers and feeling her energy. It's quite the polar opposite. And so it's very possible for them to have a relationship and to physically touch. And so it's a whole other development for her. And, you can understand why she's going to choose him in the end. Come on, we already know, right? And I did find really interesting how their relationship started to evolve and how she started to admit to herself, like, okay, I actually feel something for this dude. He isn't irrelevant to me. There's something here. And why, how, who, all of it, like just coming to terms with it, all of it just coming to a head is, again, very interesting. I know I'm not being very eloquent, but bear with me. Which is another thing about this book. Adam is very like, I'm gonna make it work, just give me another chance. Just no is no, bitch. Just take no as an answer. He's not gonna take no as an answer. And he's gonna be fucked in the head when he realizes that she's actually in love with Aaron. And when he realizes that she's actually kissed Aaron and, they've actually like touched a little bit, I think he's gonna go absolutely haywire. Yeah. I'm also waiting for them to reveal to Aaron that they're siblings, because Adam hasn't told Aaron anything. No one has told Aaron anything, and I really want to know. And I wanted Juliet to tell Aaron's father, like, I know your secret. I know you have a whole other family that you haven't told Warner or Aaron, like all of that. So I'm curious to see when that's going to come in, because I want to see their reactions so bad. I want to see Aaron's reaction so bad. So yeah, I did enjoy this book quite a lot. I think I'd give it like a 4 stars. I'm gonna go listen to the little short story, the 2.5. I don't know the name. I'm so sorry, but I don't remember the name. But I'm gonna listen to that, and then I'm gonna move on to book 3. And I'm probably going to do most of the series in audio now because it's just easier for me. Yeah, I'm sorry if I won't be able to record a lot of like in between scenes and things like that. Yeah, still coping with the whole surgery and shit, so yeah. This motherfucker is so annoying, dudes. I'm listening to him yap about how like the how Kenji and the other dude have all these bad ideas and how everyone sucks and whatever. And he's very explosive and he's very like, oh, Juliet shouldn't come into the fight with us because she's not good for this. She can't do this. She's too weak. She'll end up getting killed, or she'll kill us, or end up getting us killed. Motherfucker, I couldn't care less about what you're saying, and you're so annoying. He literally goes, it's like bringing a toddler to the warfare or something like that. It's like, you mean the woman you say you're in love with is basically a toddler with how useless she is? Come on, she's pretty strong, right? Like, she is strong. She is a little bit, like, you know, she loses her cool for sure. I'm not saying she would be the best, but she's not useless like a toddler like he's doing, and it's so annoying. Like, come on, motherfucker. Good morrow, everyone. So last night I did finish up both books, Fracture Me, the little short story, and Ignite Me, the third book in the series. And I did listen to both of them as audiobooks, like I told you guys I would, because, yep, still very much on very sleepy meds, and so listening to the audiobook is the only option as of right now. I'm a little bit slow, okay, so bear with me, but I wanted to tell you like my thoughts about both books. And again, I'm sorry I didn't record much, but I've been groggy all of these days, so it's not like there's much content to give or much reactions to record, to be completely honest with you, because I'm just not reacting that much. So yeah, so Fracture Me follows Adam's POV after book 2, or like towards the end of book 2. And he is an annoying little piece of shit. I don't like him. I really don't. I cannot connect with him. I cannot understand him. He is very possessive, and I think he's in love with this idea of Juliet that he has in his head, and he can't accept her any other way. He doesn't see her as more than what she was when she was a shell of herself and she was just out of like that prison she was in, right? He's also very demeaning of her. He's always talking of her like she's a toddler, like she's useless, like she can't do anything right, how she's going to weigh them down, how she's going to get them killed, or worse, kill them. He fears her powers. He's just not it, you know? And also his possessiveness over her, like, oh, I'm your boyfriend, you're not my boyfriend, bitch, I broke up with you so long ago. Like, he just won't let go, and he keeps expecting her to be a certain way and to feel a certain way, and she keeps feeling guilty and feeling strangled and like unable to make decisions for herself because he keeps on putting all of this baggage on top of him when they are not together anymore. When she has made it clear she's not going to have a relationship with him because she's not going to risk ever hurting him. He's just icky to me, you know, and he's a little toddler, a little brat, throwing out his tantrums and just being a little asshole about everything. And so I didn't connect very much with him. I gave this book 3 stars because, again, I don't like him. I don't like him. I honestly couldn't care less. I don't know, dude. I was just waiting for the book to end. I was like, please, Lord have mercy on my soul. Let this just be gone, right? Thankfully, this book was a lot smaller than the previous little short story, because if it was as long as Aaron's, it would have been unbearable, okay? So going into Ignite Me, I have a lot of mixed feelings about this book in general. I think it was a very good book, but I also think that in terms of action and in terms of things happening, not a lot was happening, and I feel like that's kind of a pattern with these books in the series, where you do have some things happening in the beginning, middle of it, they're either training or practicing or something or preparing or whatnot, and then towards the end something happens. There is no like ups and downs of story and action in the story. It's just like there's a lot here, then it stabilizes, and then there's a lot at the end, and that's it. And that, I don't dislike the pacing at all. but that does make it so that like the book kind of doesn't have a lot in terms of like events. If you were to tell what exactly happened in this book, you don't have a lot of events to tell. Even though I do think all of it was important for the character development and for development of the story and all of it, I still thought it was all very important, but action-wise, it wasn't action-packed, right? And I feel like there are other books in this type of sort of genre and everything that would be action-packed and would have been better in this regard. I think my favorite part of this book was Aaron's and Juliet's relationship, which is not exactly a surprise, let's be honest. We were cooking up to this point, right? This is all, everything was coming up to this point. This was the culmination of everything that was being set up in these books. But I really like it because of just the complexity of their relationship and how like both of them as individuals, as people with trauma, have come together in a very like a more adult fashion compared to how Adam's and Juliet's relationship was, right? Which was more like trauma bonding and more like you were here and I guess you're the only person I can touch and so I choose you, I guess, you know? They weren't really compatible and they weren't really on the same page. But with Aaron, there's a lot more intention behind things. There's a lot more effort put into the relationship. I just enjoyed seeing the relationship deepen and just evolve. In general, I was very happy for them. I also really like Juliet's relationship with Kenji. She just randomly started calling him her best friend. I'm like, when did this happen? But I really like him. I really like him, and I think he's a really good friend of hers. Also, Aaron's powers, very cool. Very, very cool, his powers, because in the end, his powers are empathy. He has the power of empathy in the end, because like he can feel other people's emotions and energy and see how they're feeling and everything, and then project that energy back, right? Like use their energy and manipulate it. So it's kind of empathy, but also manipulation of their energies. It's very cool. I find that a very cool power to have, very unique as well. And it's also very like well paired with Juliet's because, you know, it's comfortable. He likes her power. He likes to feel her energy versus the other one that was like, oh my God, I have to protect myself till the end of time and whatever, you know? There's two things in this book that were also very relevant and I want to mention. First, when Aaron found out that Adam and Justin are his brothers, I was not expecting that to go that way. I thought there was going to be a lot more drama. I thought Adam was going to reject it a lot more. I thought Adam was going to tell him to fuck off. I never thought that they would actually have an amicable discussion. We don't know what they discussed, right? But they still seemed to come to terms with something together, and I thought Adam would just throw one of his tantrums as per usual and not like, you know, whatever. I did know that Aaron would be sort of happy, like obviously conflicted, but still more towards the happy because he didn't have anyone else. He didn't have any other family. And I did agree with Juliet in terms of like, I expected his reaction to be more towards the positive, but I thought Adam would lose his shit and he didn't. So it's interesting to see that. And I want to see what's going to happen next and how, you know, Aaron and Justin's relationship is going to go, because I feel like Adam's going to be a bitch about it. You know what I mean? But it was very cute. I also found very cute that Aaron was really worried how Juliet would react. Like, are you okay with me actually having a relationship with my brothers and I want to explore that? Is that okay with you? He was very mindful of her feelings, even though she was like, what the fuck? Yes, of course. Like, that doesn't even make sense that you're asking this, but it's so cool that he did ask because he truly cares about her and her feelings and, you know, her experience of everything. So that was also very cute. The other thing is the ending. So this is also like, I don't like this when a lot of books do this, where we are working up to this final boss battle, right? And then it's simple and easy and nothing truly challenging happens, you know? I think the most challenging thing that happened here was she got lost inside a boat. She got lost inside a boat. That was it. So I feel like there could have been more difficulty, more challenge. It was too easy for it to be the final boss battle. You know what I mean? I understand that the story's still going to continue because they're going to try to topple the entire system and not just Aaron's father. But still, I thought it would be a bigger fight. I really did. So I ended up giving this book 4 stars because even though, yeah, I wish there was more action and more, you know, difficulty and more happening, the relationships were kind of also the focal point in this. They've been a pretty central point of the story so far, but like Aaron's relationship with Juliet was really, to me, the highlight of the book, and so I thought that was very good, and so that kind of made it up for me. Otherwise, it would probably be a 3.5, but I'm giving it a 4 stars just for now, at least. I think that's the rating that I think is most appropriate. And yeah, that's it. I think the next book is an actual book, so not a short story. So we're gonna go to book 4. I don't know the name. I will figure it out and I will tell you the name. But for now, that's it. Hey there, y'all. Time for another update. So I've been reading quite a lot. Okay, quite a lot, and I've finished Restore Me. Okay, this is the 4th book in the series, and this book was tough, honestly, because it was really just coming back to them after defeating Warren's dad, and all of the fallout from all of that, and have to like restructure everything, and just Juliet trying to figure things out and what she has to do and what her next moves are, and her as a leader of the revolution, like what she has to do and what she represents and all of that. And then also focuses a lot on her relationship with Warren and with her other friends. It's tough because I enjoyed it, but it was really tough to see that like Warren is keeping so many secrets from her, and she is left so jumbled and messed up and just alone in her struggles. And we also get to see a lot of like the backstory of Warren and like just the people he met, the other children of the other like rulers of this whole empire thing. And so those are very interesting to see. Like those people are interesting to meet and to get to know, but it's just a little bit fucked up how like he doesn't prepare Juliet for anything and how their relationship is on the rocks because of that. In terms of action, it's another book where not a lot happens, but a lot of story is told, a lot of things are revealed, so I did like that part of it. But truth is, there isn't a lot of like story, a lot of development in terms of plot happening, unfortunately. Kenji is slowly becoming one of my favorite characters. He was already becoming one of my favorite characters, but for sure he's one of my favorite characters. Just his loyalty to Juliet, how he's funny, also how he's struggling and going through all of his things. He's just a very interesting character, complex character, and the comedic relief character at the same time. And I always like these characters a lot. I always like the silly, goofy friends. They're loyal to a T. So I'm really enjoying his part of it. And so I also enjoyed the other book, the short story that came after, which is Kenji's short story, and seeing things from his POV, and it's very, very interesting. I loved it so much. I think it's the first book in the series that I don't give 4 stars, that I gave 4.5, because I genuinely liked it so much. I'm also considering giving Warren's short story also 4.5, to be honest, like the first one. Because I truly like these, because they give us a lot of insight to the characters and what they're thinking, and also like a little bit into their trauma and who they are, and just, I don't know, it's really refreshing to see things from their POVs. And so I really enjoyed this short story as well. Now, going back to the book, my main thing with this is how it's getting all jumbled now. How now Juliet is part of this whole thing, and how she has a sister, and how her parents are now involved in things, and how they're not really dead, and all of this is a mess. And I understand, I do, but it's a bit of a mess, and it annoys me a little bit when things start to get so unraveled, and it feels like they're putting, like the author is pulling rabbits out of her little hat and trying to make things more wow. And at the same time, it's probably from the start has always been this, or this has been the plan from the beginning, but like it's tiresome. It's tiresome. And also I do believe that these books could have been a lot less. This series could have been a lot less books. But I also understand that at the time that this was released, this was the norm, and also this is released for younger audiences. So it's like it's not as jam-packed as it is in just the context of the situation from when these were published. It makes sense why it's published this way, but definitely they could have been less books. And I just feel like it's just stretching it out almost, but I'm also like intrigued about it at the same time, and how all of this is going to come into like fruition. And the next book is Defy Me, and I've read it as well. So I've read the 5th book of the series. Now I think I only have left is 2 short stories and the 6th book. So yeah, we're almost done with all of it. This book, I actually don't know what to rate it yet. I'm gonna 4 stars is guaranteed, as we've been able to see. But I really liked it. I really, really like this book. I think I might even give it 4.5, maybe, because this book was really interesting. It gave us a lot of perspective. It gave us a lot of like insight in the past and who Juliet is and was, and also Aaron's past and all of the history. It also gave us a lot of context on what's actually happening in the background. What are the parents, the rulers of this thing trying to do with their children? How are they controlling the world? How are they maintaining their control? All of those things. So it was a lot of insight so far, and I liked it a lot as like a very informative book. And even action wise, like we did see them make moves here and there. We did see Juliet, running around and trying to figure out how to release herself, and her sister also helping out, and Kenji also trying to rescue them. Like we saw a little bit happen. It is quite a short book, but I do feel like the context, the information, all that happened was very interesting, and so I really enjoyed this book. After reading this one, I don't feel as iffy about the whole situation with her parents and her contacts, and I don't feel like it's pulling rabbits out of her hat anymore. But it's still tough. It's still a very like big conspiracy theory, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around like what the end goal is gonna be and how the story is gonna pan out. I'm more positively inclined towards this like whole change in program for the plot, right? Her sister also, damn. That's what I gotta say. Damn, the situation with her sister, damn. That girl has suffered for years, and I didn't even know that was remotely possible, right? And that also kind of like explains her parents and the situation with her sister and how they experimented and everything. Really explains how Juliet ended up in the situation, ended up being as powerful as she is, But it's just fucked up, and I hope that, Juliet can give her sister the help she wants. I'm very curious. I'm happy that our couple is together again. Okay, our friends are together again. And I'm just waiting to see. I don't have much to say. I'm also, again, I'm going to keep reiterating this. I'm very low energy. So I've just been chilling and enjoying the book very nonchalantly. So I don't have a lot of reactions to give you, but it's been nice. It's a nice story, and I'm enjoying it so far. So, yeah. Okay, y'all. I finished the last 3 books that were missing from this series. I finished Reveal Me, Imagine Me, and doesn't fucking matter, okay? I finished 5.5, 6, and 6.5, okay? So 2 short stories and the last book of the series. I first want to say that I really like the short stories in between all of the books because it gives you a different perspective, and also, with the exception of Adam's POV, I really enjoyed most of the other characters' POVs and the story told by their eyes. I really did. It was nice to have a different perspective. It was nice to have some more insight in how they think and how they process things, because there's things that you don't really get with just hearing them talk. You need to be inside their brains to really understand how they think. So that was very interesting to me, and I really appreciated the opportunity of having those POVs, because a lot of series you don't get that. So I really liked intermingling the short stories in between the main books. In regards to the last book, it was a lot. Honestly, it was quite a lot, and it didn't go how I envisioned it to go. The fact that Juliet got taken over by Aaron's father, insane. Incestuous relationship that Juliet started to have with him is weird, and I know they're not related, but it still felt icky, It's your boyfriend's father, it's your fiance's father. It's fucking weird to me. It creeped me the fuck out, okay? But I did feel like the ending was really good. Just the final battle was well done. It had complexity, it has struggles, it had a lot of ins and outs to it. I didn't like that it was fade to black at some point, and we only get to know what truly happened in the short story that comes afterwards. I didn't like that. I wanted it to be more complete, right? And I think the short story should have been included in the main story. Like, probably the author, I'm just assuming here, like, wrote it, realized, okay, there's something missing, and then wrote the short story to complement it. But, like, in the first place, not having that part there was a miss for me, personally. I'm also glad we didn't lose some of my favorite characters, okay? AKA Kenji. I'm glad we didn't lose him, okay? I really am. And I'm just glad everything worked out in the end.
her sister's sacrifice was a necessity. I'm glad that, like, at least this generation, the kids' generation, is more thoughtful and just, human than the parents' generation. That is fucking weird and insane. How they just use their kids for experimentation and all of that. And you think that with the first initial books, you kind of have a hang of how that society works and how that dystopian situation works, but you really don't until you get to the end and you realize really what has been going on in the background and how these adults see their children, their kids, and what they are actually there for, and how like these magical abilities have been developed and how they've been scientifically replicating them and how they can pass them on to other people. All of it is fucking weird, and you really realize, oh, this is not what it seems like. Really, you thought you knew, but you don't really know. Yeah, it was just interesting. I don't have much more to say because I liked it, but I don't think it's one of those series that is like, wow, I think it's a really good series. I think I would have liked it more when I was a kid. Which happens when we're reading these series that we should have read years ago. I think I gave 4 stars to like majority of the books in the series. I think also the last ones I think all of them 4 stars, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a few days, so bear with me. Also, my brain. I've mentioned this multiple times. My brain is not braining, okay? It's really not braining. So yeah, overall, my opinion is positive of these books, of the series. I do understand the hype. I do understand why people like the characters so much. I also connected with them quite a bit. Not as much as I would like to, but I did connect with them quite a bit, and I do find them all very interesting. I do find Aaron and Kenji are my favorites because Aaron's just the psychological part of his upbringing and of who he is and how he has been dealing with all of this stress and trauma, all of it. Found that very interesting. And Kenji also is goofy and funny, and I find him very amusing, and he made me giggle a lot, but also how he's still complex and still has depth and still has his own trauma and his own issues to go through, and all of it makes him even more of an interesting character to me. So those are my 2 favorites. And yeah, so this is where our video ends. I'm not going to be reading the next series, the interconnected series that I think follows James, quite yet. I might one day. I do think that's on my like to-do list, basically to read list. But for now, I'm good with just this main series. I oftentimes, when it's to read about the next generation in a series, I don't find that the most compelling thing for me. It is a problem, but for now I need some time at least to think and to like just process and whatever, and I just need something else. I'm not in the mood to continue. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like because a girl deserves it. Okay, she struggled. You saw me before the accident, you saw me during the accident. Well, not during the accident, but you've been seeing me go through it, so I deserve a like. At least, you know what I mean? I deserve it. So, oh my god, my brain is frying. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video next week. Bye!